Hi everyone, welcome back to the Snack Bite series. My name is Grace Farrow. I'm a Solid Edge Applications Engineer here at PROLIM PLM. Today we're going to be talking about swept protrusion in Solid Edge 2020. We're also going to be looking at the key point curve command. So for swept protrusion, I just open up a new part file, and what we're actually going to create the swept protrusion path with is something called a key point curve. So if we go under the surfacing tab, under the curves group, we have this drop down for key point. And there's two types of ways we can create a curve. We can either create a key point curve in this 3D environment by selecting key points, or there's this curve by table, which means that you can import an Excel spreadsheet and create points from there. But what we're going to start off with is a key point curve. And we're going to get this XYZ axis right here. This is not our origin. This is just reference for creating our key point curve. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to select the origin point. This is what I want to make my first point. So right now I can actually just drag my cursor out anywhere and my line will follow. And if I click on a space here, it'll create another node and walk that through it. But if I want to constrain how this key point curve moves, what I can do is select Z on my keypad and it will lock to an axis. So I clicked Z and now it's, you can see with the green highlight, the Z axis is locked. So if I hit Z again, it'll actually take it to the X axis. Then if I hit it one more time, it'll take it to the Y. And if I want to lock to a plane, all I have to do is hit the X key on my keypad, and that will lock to my ZX plane, my YX plane, and my YZ plane. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of lock to my Z and start making points. Maybe I want to create a point on my ZX plane. Maybe I want to make it go back on my Y-axis. And then maybe just somewhere out here in space. And then I'm going to right click to say OK. And now if I move my cursor for different orientation, I can see how this is a 3D curve. So it has a substantial change in my Y direction and a substantial change in my Z and X directions. So I can hit finish and then cancel. And then I'm going to have this curve available for me. So now that I created my path, what I want to do is create a profile that I'm going to sweep along this path. So here in the planes group under the surfacing tab, if I drop down this planes, you can see that we have this normal to curve plane. So I'm going to go ahead and select that, and then I'm going to select my key point curve. And what's going to happen is I have the option to actually pick on some of these nodes. I can also adjust the position. So as I move this up and down, you can see my position and my distance changes. But what I want is my position to be 0, 0. So I'm actually going to bring this all the way down and left click to place. And I now have a new plane, my plane 5. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my home tab and I'm going to create a sketch on that new plane. And I'm going to say circle by center point. And if I hover over my origin, what I want to see is this icon. Okay, so this icon represents a pierce point. This is exactly what I want to see. So I'm going to go ahead and left click and create a pretty small circle. I'm going to go ahead and close out that sketch and hit finish. And kind of orient this so I can see it a little better. Okay, so then under my solids group, I can actually drop down this add drop down and go to sweep. Here are my sweep options. So as we can see here, there are a couple different options down here at the bottom. We have scale and twist. These are pretty specific options, but these are only applied after we create our sweep. our original sweep, and then we can go back into options. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And now I'm going to select my path, say OK by right-clicking, and then I'm going to select my sketch. And here we can see my sweep. So now if we go back into my options from my sweep, we can adjust the scale, and we can also adjust the number of twists. We can say like the number of turns, the turns per length, or define that by the angle. It's a little hard to see with a circular sweep, so I'm not going to add a twist, but I will add a scale. So I'm going to say scale along path. And I'm going to start the scale off at 0.5 and have the end scale at 2. So this is saying this is half of the diameter that I had started off with, and then at the end scale it's going to be twice the diameter. So I'm going to say OK. And now it's updated, which is great. So now I'm going to go ahead and hit finish and cancel. I'm going to hide that plane just so we can kind of see this. Let's go ahead and hide that sketch too. So here is my sweep. So if I wanted to update my sweep, all I would have to do is go back into the key point curve, just left click on the Pathfinder, and I can go to this edit definition, and it will bring up those nodes again that I can adjust. So if I actually come over here, this is the curve length step. If I wanted to define a specific length, so if I go ahead and left click on that, here I can say I want a fixed length. And I can adjust this to whatever number I want. And then I can also come over here and I can say like constrain the specific direction. So if I left click on that and I say that I want it to constrain in the Z direction at a length of 20, we're going to see how that moves. All right, so if I go back into that curve length step, we can see that it's set to 20 inches. I can hit preview and then finish. And my model has been updated. Okay, so that is sweeping. Till next time, thanks so much for stopping by.